Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother R0 with another video, and I'm going to start it off in Luke 16, verse 19, which is dealing with the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. There was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And that rich man is speaking of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and, the Edomite race as a whole. What was Esau's blessing? The fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. And we can clearly see that right now the Edomites are in control of the planet. They're at the top of every resource trade, and they're living in the choicest parts on the planet. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. And Lazarus is symbolic for the children of Israel. The children of Israel consisting of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are at the bottom of society right now, a byword to these other nations, looked down upon, looked at as the problem of society, etc., etc., and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. And just look at how our people are in relation to these Edomites. We get the crumbs, so to speak, from their society. You're working at these jobs and you may get paid, a decent amount, but think about how much your labor is making for these Edomites. Jake is getting government assistance, and still Jake is barely getting by in a lot of instances. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores, and the dogs are speaking of these other heathen nations that, benefit off of the Israelites. Think about these Arab gas stations, these Chinese stores, that sell that poisonous food to our people. You've got Arabs and the Chinese owning these weave shops for the Israelite woman. Jake, they set up shop in Jake's neighborhood and make all the money, and then what? Go to their nice neighborhoods and, just live off of our people, while, the neighborhoods Jake live in are slums and ghettos and shitholes. Verse 22, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. Even though we're living in a bad case on this side, we're still Israelites. We're still, that chosen line through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we're the ones that are under the old covenant and are going to be under the new covenant and are going to receive the blessings of the kingdom of heaven, where we're going to be on the top of society, ruling everything. The rich man also died and was buried. And when Israel comes into power, that means Esau and these other heathen nations are going to be underneath our feet. And just as Israel was the last of the nations and these Edomites were the first of the nations, there's going to be a complete role reversal. You Edomites are going to become the new niggers. And in hell, which, that's just talking about a living condition, because when you're in heaven, you're in rulership. And when you're in hell, hey, you're in a bad case. And in hell, he lift up his eyes, being in torments. You Edomites being in hardcore bondage and slavery in the kingdom of heaven. And seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. The children of Israel, finally, fully receiving the blessings and the birthright of the kingdom of heaven, ruling in the kingdom of heaven. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. You Edomites are going to receive double as to what you did to the children of Israel. So, we see the horrors that Jake went through during the transatlantic slave trade, the Reconstruction era, colonialization, in the Americas, all the way up until today. So imagine all that, but worse for you Edomites. And there's going to be no ounce of mercy for you Edomites for that first 1,000 years in the kingdom of heaven. But Abraham said, Son, remember thou in thy lifetime received thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. For the longest time, while you Edomites were living at the top of society, you didn't care about the condition of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But now that you see that your rulership is slipping through your fingers and that your very own elites are throwing you under the bus, now you want to talk about, oh, we're all one people, we're all Americans, we're all going to come together. Hey, that's not the case. Just like our nation had to drink that cup of slavery and torments down to the dregs, that cup is about to pass to you Edomites, and you're going to drink it down as well. But now he is comforted, Israel ruling in the kingdom of heaven, and thou art tormented, you in captivity. And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed. What does it say in Genesis chapter 25? 2 manners of people are in thy womb, and they shall be separated from each other. There is no way the Israelites or the Edomites were ever supposed to come together and live peaceably. Just look at the history between us. Nor in the kingdom of heaven will we be on an equal playing field. You're going to be below the earth compared to us. That's how low you're going to be. So that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brethren. And when you go into Numbers, Esau had 5 sons. So that's talking about the, nation of Edom as a whole, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. Abraham said unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And you had Yahushua, he died, and he rose after 3 days. So we have this account of one rising from the dead. And also what? You have the prophets out here right now on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles online, breaking down the scriptures, telling you exactly what's going to happen, who you Edomites are, and who the children of Israel are. But what? The majority of you Edomites still don't want to acknowledge that fact. So you have the rich man in this parable saying, Father Abraham, send the prophets that they may convince my nation, of these torments to come. Well, hey, you've already had the prophets out prophesying, and you have the account of Yahushua rising from the dead. Verse 31, and he said unto them, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, which the majority of you Edomites, you have selective hearing when it comes to the truth, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. And you look at Yahushua's resurrection as what? Fake news, as that demon Noah Yuval Harari said. So there's no hope for you Edomites. So you might as well, enjoy, your rulership for as long as you can, because it's quickly coming to an end. And I opened up the video with these verses to preface a clip from the brother Arrows of Indignation 144's YouTube channel titled Good Riddance, R0thschild dies in house fire in LA Hills according to Esau. So, according to this report, one of the R0thschilds, which is the top Edomite elite family out there, died in a house fire. And he's up in the spirit world right now. And when he comes back down on earth, hey, he's going to receive those torments and be in hell, as what happened to that rich man in the parable when he died. And what? He came back in those torments straight into captivity, hardcore bondage and slavery. And, you had this R0thschild just die. You had Jacob the R0thschild, as well as Evelyn R0thschild die. Queen Elizabeth and one of those other British royalty Edomites die. Henry Kissinger, I think David Rockefeller. So, hey, all those devils are up in the spirit world right now, just waiting to come back through the loins of the Edomites that survive, World War III and the nukes, just to go straight into slavery. Let me see. And, to you Edomites, especially you elites that are still alive right now and that are going to survive the coming torment, the coming calamities of Jacob's trouble and those nukes during World War III, when you go into your underground bunkers, your low orbit space stations, your undersea bases. Hey, you're just being preserved just so you can also take part in the first fruits of slavery in the kingdom of heaven, and your riches will not be able to save you, just as this devil's riches weren't able to save him from the house fire, or those other devils' riches, heart transplants or whatever, weren't able to save them from the Most High taking their spirit back to the spirit world. This is James chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 1. And what does the header read? The misuse of riches, which that's damn sure what you Edomites, especially the elites of you Edomites have done with the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. You've turned everything against the people out here. You've got, the GMO foods, cell phone and Wi-Fi radiation, lowering men's seed count, as well as giving people cancer. You got the chemtrails in the sky, pollution in the ocean. You push out feminism and democracy to ruin, the minds of the people. The list goes on and on. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Hey, dwelling in hell and torments like that rich man. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten, because you got your riches by what? Grape, robbery, and murder. Because what was one of Esau's other blessings? The sword, which he used to gain the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. And hey, again, your riches were gotten by ill-gotten gains, and what? Your money system is collapsing right now. Just look at the U.S. dollar. It's losing its value, and people are de-dollarizing. And the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped up treasure together for the last days. Hey, you won't be able to take those riches with you. They're going to be taken away from you. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth. Taxing the hell out of these people. You got these people working multiple jobs, with devalued money, because you're constantly printing more money, which is lowering the value, so people have less of a purchasing power. So people are just, crying and wailing out here, which you can find plenty of videos of Americans saying, look, I don't have a future. I'm never going to buy a house. I'm never going to have a family. The American dream is dead for me. And the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, or the Lord of armies. And the cries that Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is hearing are the children of Israel, beginning with the elect. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth. What did it say back with Lazarus and the rich man? That the rich man fared sumptuously every day and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. The history of our people with these Edomites. Colonization, transatlantic slave trade, the Reconstruction era, Black Wall Street, Rosewood, the Civil Rights era. What else? The prison industrial complex, the war on drugs, all the way up until today. Jake is constantly getting, back-ended by you Edomites. But you still got the majority of our people talking about coming together and we are one people. Well, hey, you Edomites are going to go into captivity, and you wicked Jakes are going to get destroyed, and then you're going to come back righteous through the loins of the elect and help in putting, these Edomites and other heathens into slavery. So there's no escape for you Edomites, Whether you survive the coming calamities of Jacob's trouble, you're going into slavery, or whether you die before the calamities, you're going to be reincarnated right into slavery. But let's play this clip. And what I find beautiful is that this Rothschild was killed in a fire, and it's going to be nuclear fire that's going to put that final nail in the coffin of Esau Edom's rulership. But this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
Breaking right now at 11 o'clock, a deadly house fire in the Hollywood Hills. And tonight we're learning about the man with a very famous last name who lived and died there. Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand live in the Hollywood Hills with the breaking new details tonight. Jory.
Mark, firefighters had a difficult time accessing this home because it's set so far back off the road, and it's at the top of a very steep hill with a very thin stairwell leading up there. Once they did access the home, they made the tragic discovery inside, and it turns out the man who lived there might have been a billionaire. Hollywood Hills neighbors did everything they could to put out this raging fire that broke out in a home on Lookout Mountain Avenue.
I was going up the stairs, and right as I approached the top of the stairs, the flames burst out of the house.
Firefighters knocked down the flames in about 20 minutes, but found the home's elderly occupant dead inside. Neighbors identifying him as Will Rothschild of the Rothschild family.
We're getting a new roof put on tomorrow, and so I told my wife to email him to make sure it's okay that we use part of his driveway. And he never responded, and I said, well, that's so unlike him.
Rothschild is described by neighbors as an eccentric millionaire or even billionaire with multiple properties and dozens of some of the most expensive cars on earth. But on a street lined with multi-million...
Hey, fared sumptuously every day.
...dollar homes and mansions occupied by celebrities and the powerful, Rothschild was said to have lived as a bit of a recluse in a small, old, rickety home in conditions described as that of a hoarder, something the fire department seemed to tactfully confirm tonight.
Given the fire damage, it's kind of hard to determine how much of that was prior to the fire and how much of it is the building itself that has been demolished by the fire.
And while some neighbors had never even seen him and assumed the house was vacant, those that did know him are saddened by the loss.
It is very sad. He was a good guy, good neighbor.
He was a devil, and he's coming straight back into slavery, just like, all these other Edomites that have passed away, and just like all you Edomites, beginning with the elites that are about to survive the coming calamities of Jacob's trouble, are going straight into slavery. But like I just said, what was beautiful about this is what he perished in a house fire, and it's going to be those nuclear missiles that's going to be the period to the end of the sentence of you Edomites' rulership. X some of this out. This is Job chapter 20. I'm going to start at verse 18. That which he labored for, he shall restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. And you have heaped up treasures for the last days, just so that the Israelites, beginning with the elect, are going to take everything from you. Because he hath oppressed and forsaken the poor, the Israelites, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not. Look at the Holy Land right now. Joel chapter 3, verse 9. For they have scattered my people abroad and parted my land between them. And what? Look at America. You had the Northern Kingdom here, or the so-called Latinos and Native Americans, and that land was violently taken away from them by those European Edomite colonizers. Surely he shall not fill quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon them. And when you go into that word wicked in the Strongs, it means the laborer. And remember what we read back in James chapter 5, the cries of all them that labor and reap your fields have been a witness against you and have gone into the ears of the Lord of the Sabaoth, or the Lord of the armies. And you Edomites you elites are in the fullness right now. You're about to accomplish, or you think you're about to accomplish your NW0, your great RESET. But what? All these people, as we're getting to the end of your rulership, are starting to expose you on those alternative news outlets. But first and foremost, the prophets going into the scriptures, like with epistles like this, pinpointing exactly who you are and what you're doing in the scriptures, fully exposing you. Hence why it says in Revelation 12, verse 12, the devil is about to come down in great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And you know your time's almost up, because whenever Israel wakes up and the prophets are out, whatever heathen nation that's ruling at the time is going to be taken out of power. And you also know that you're the biblical Edomites, and that when you are taken out of power, you're going into that hardcore bondage and slavery. When he is about to fill his belly, he's locked down society, set up these 15-minute cities, and got the majority of people out here to accept the MARKOFTHEBEAST in Revelation 13, 16 to 18, which is the RFID/NFC C-hip implant. You think you've got everything on lock, so you can finally sit down at your table, so to speak, and just enjoy the fruits of your labors. The Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. Hey, once that C-hip is mandatorily implemented, things are going to speed up rapidly, and the culmination of World War III with those nuclear missiles being shot to the ends of the earth is going to take place. And that iron weapon, that bow of steel, is speaking of those nuclear missiles. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. And something's glittering. That means it's, got a shine from it. So, that's metaphorically speaking of those nuclear missiles exploding. They look like swords flying through the sky, and they're glittering when they explode. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. Because, these that fire from those nuclear missiles, enkindled by sticks and stones and flint, it's all those, elemental and chemical processes inside the missile that kindle that fire. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. All you Edomites that survive, beginning with the elites, it's going to be ill for you, because you're going straight into slavery. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. And the heaven revealing his iniquity is speaking of those satellites in low orbit space beaming these video epistles that the prophets are preaching from one end of the earth unto the other, waking up the elect of the nation of Israel, bringing about the end of your rulership. What does it say in Matthew 24, verse 14? And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations in the heavens through the internet, and then shall the end come. And we can see that these last few prophecies are quickly coming to their fulfillment. You've got World War III on the horizon, and these nations threatening to use nukes every other day. And who does DJ Donald Trump have in his administration? Elon Musk, who is behind Neuralink, that C-hip, implant in the forehead. So the MOTB is coming together. And what did I believe Donald Trump said this too. He's going to make America, or make himself, the king of Bitcoin. And that's a cryptocurrency. So what? The push for these digital currencies and this cashless society is on the move as well. Hey, we are at the door of Jacob's trouble, the salvation, and the kingdom of heaven. And the rich men, you Edomites, being in hell in torments. And the R0thschilds and a lot of these other elites are the Ish people, the little hats, who are the Amalekite Edomites of the nation of Edom. And they're the top tribe. And let's read what their end is. This is Numbers 24, 18 to 20. and Edom shall be a possession. Revelation 13, verses 9 to 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity, the transatlantic slave trade, shall go into captivity. You Edomites, beginning with your elites, going into slavery. He that killeth with the sword, colonization, the transatlantic slave trade, the Reconstruction era. We're not even talking about 70 AD when you Edomites were the Romans, or the Antiochus Epiphanes when you Edomites were calling yourselves Greeks. You still got to pay for that. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And the elect are patiently waiting for these things to come to pass, which we can clearly see. We are at the door of these prophecies coming to their fulfillment. But again, and Edom shall be a possession. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And this is the Moabite Balaam prophesying to King Balak, talking about what the children of Israel and these other, heathen nations would be going through in the last days. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations. And we can clearly see that these R0thschilds are at the head of everything. But his latter end shall be that he perish forever. Going into slavery with the rest of your nation. And then after that 1,000 years, all you Edomites, man, woman, and child, young and old, being gathered together and permanently cold from this planet by fire. Read about it in Obadiah 1 verse 18, that Basra bonfire. This is Isaiah 49 and 23, because as I've been saying throughout the video, all you Edomites and you heathens are going into slavery, but you elites that survive the coming destruction, you're going to be the creme de la creme of slaves. And the kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. In captivity, being servants, they shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth and lick up the dust of thy feet. And they're not literally going to be licking the dust off our feet. That just means you're going to be in a low position. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me, the faith and the patience of the saints. This is Psalms 149. I'm going to read it to the end. Israel invoked to praise Yahweh. Praise ye Yahweh. Sing unto Yahweh a new song, and his praise in the congregation of the saints. And hey, the elect, beginning with the 144,000, the prophets, which R0thschild, myself, and you sincere Akim doing the work are of that number. They are singing that new song. What? Preaching, waking up Israel, showing who the Edomites are, showing who the true names of the Lord and his son are, Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, and that, hey, this kingdom isn't the end all be all, and that we will be ruling for eternity in the kingdom of heaven, and our enemies will bow down to the earth and lick up the dust of our feet. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people, and his people only. He will beautify the meek with salvation, beginning with the elect, and then the wicked of our people that are judged on this side are going to be reborn through the loins of the elect, straight into the new covenant, into the kingdom of heaven. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. And when you're in bed, you're at rest. Us finally being at rest in the kingdom of heaven. Our enemies put down all around us. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand. To do what? To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, beginning with you elites, you Rothschilds, you Rockefellers, you other high-up families, and just these other higher-ups in society, your nobles like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, if any of them survive, everybody, these presidents and prime ministers, these high military generals, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere, Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.